It's time to bring you yet another amazing episode. And now, welcome your host.
Good to have you on the show. This is Life by Omobola Stephen. I'm the host, Omobola Stephen. On Life by Omobola Stephen, we share profound insights that are disruptive yet constructive Mindshift conversations that we pivot the positive changes and transformations that you and I need as we progress in life. Now, it is important, and we emphasize the importance of embracing personal development and self-improvement along the course of our lives, because when we do so, we tend to find ourselves along the way. And it's such a joy and a beauty when we find ourselves realizing who we really are and the profound benefits and bounties that life has in store for us. Now, if we are ready to embrace the changes and the transformations life brings in our way along this path. So the importance of personal development and self-improvement cannot be overemphasized. This is the mission and the focus of the podcast, Library by Omobola Stephen. I'm your host, Omobola Stephen. And thank you for joining me, Susan Hensley. You are an author, transformational coach, and speaker. We want to talk about how we can rediscover ourselves by embracing life's transitions. Thank you once again, Susan. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure once again. I'm looking forward to a great time as we explore this important topic. You and I know that we're in a very dynamic times. The world is changing, and every facet of our lives is also embracing this change. And so, why do you think that transition seems so hard? And I'd like to have your take on the importance of embracing life's transitions.
Yeah. I appreciate what you say, because the change is happening whether we want it to or not. And so the only power we have as individuals is how we go into the change, right? Rather we go screaming and fighting and clinging to the past and our previous ways of being in the world, or rather we find ways to embrace it and to grow through it, because change is hard. Even change that we really want to come, there's still an ending to what we had. There's that messy middle where we don't know what the future's going to be and what it's going to look like. And then even when we think we're there, we have to find new ways of being. So there's very set stages of transitions, and it's important that we are just aware of them. Otherwise, we can feel like it's just us, when really the experience is quite universal. There needs to be an acknowledgement of what we're letting go of and what was in the past. There needs to be patience and self-compassion during the messy middle, when there's a lot of uncertainty and it feels like you're going sideways or backwards. And then also some real courage when we're starting something new. And I think it's very easy during times of change to really want to cling to the past and feel either very frightened or very stuck. And what I try and really help people with, and what I think your podcast is getting at as far as self-development, is how do we grow when we're uncertain?
Absolutely. Now, closer to transition, I'd like you to share your understanding about what duality is. Why do you think it is important for us to embrace duality? Because understanding or knowing fully well that this can be very complex.
Yeah. Well, it's what you just said. Because the world is complex, it's not one thing or another, right? Change, let's just talk about a human emotion. There's a phrase a lot of people use, that something can be bittersweet. It's a passage. You can be happy for the passage, but also a little sad that that phase is over. It's almost like a child growing up, graduating from from one grade or one phase to another. And that's, I think, the duality that's happening right now is as humans, we would like something to be very clear. We would like everything to either be good or bad or obvious, go this way, don't go that way. And I think right now there's a lot of gray. There's a lot of ambiguity. And the more we can understand that things can be both, and I just use happy and sad because they're easy emotions for people to understand and to reflect in their own life when they've had both of those feelings. They've been happy about something, but also a little bit sad that something's ending. And that's what a lot of the change that we're going through right now in the world is like. There's some things that we might think are very positive, and we can see some hope or whatever in it. And then there's things that we may think aren't as good. And it's getting comfortable with what I would call using and, not but there.
Now, don't you think that our mindset also, and also our approach to life, has a lot to do with what we experience in our personal life, now even to the society in general?
Absolutely. If you go out expecting to have a good day, to meet friendly people, for things to go your way, it tends to go your way because that's what you notice, right? We There's a line. I worked many years in a large company, and we'd always talk about when you have a goal, what you measure is it's what you see. And so if your mindset is to have positive experiences, you're going to be looking for those, and you're going to see those, and you're going to pay more attention to those. That's the mindset. If you go out thinking the day is going to be terrible and it's going to be hassle after hassle, or things aren't going to go your way, you're going to pay more attention to the things that don't go your way, and you're going to grow those, if you will, in your mind. So mindset is absolutely critical to all of this. And it needs to be a compassionate mindset for yourself too.
All right. So, do you think, or what is going to happen to us if we choose not to embrace duality, or if we are not even embracing it at all? Is there any fault in it?
I think it just makes it harder, right? You can look at things. I think of what's happening a bit like a river. The water's going to flow. Rather you build dams, like whether it's a smooth flowing stream or you're causing dams, the water, if that's the change, is still going to get through. Anyone who's ever sort of tried to stop water knows it's very hard. And eventually, a dam breaks, the water goes over the dam. So I look at it as you want to enable your life to have more of a flow. It doesn't mean you don't direct the water, guide the water, if you will, keep the water in banks, but recognizing you probably can't hold it back. So I think the more we can move with that flow, the easier it is, right? We all have free choice. We can have bad attitudes. We can want things to be a certain way. It doesn't necessarily make it so. And it's much easier if I think we are staying mentally flexible and less rigid. And it's really important to have some self-compassion for yourself, to recognize change and transition is not easy. And the more you can give yourself some mental support and emotional support for the fact it can be hard, I think that then ironically makes it easier.
Now, Susan, when changes and transformation or transitions or phases of life are about to happen in the lives of some people, they don't realize at that moment. How do they realize the moment?
Well, some moments, yeah, so you're talking about how a person knows they're going through a change?
Yes.
Okay. Well, some moments are interesting, right? Because they can be sudden. You can lose a job, a key relationship can end, and you know those. And those are the changes that happen to us. And those are the very hard endings when it's a change that we didn't seek and it's abrupt. And if you're in a change like that, you really do need to spend some time in what I call the grieving process. You can't just move on to the next thing. You need to give yourself some time to, if you will, make peace with what's ending, and then what that ending makes possible. I think a really powerful question is, what is possible for me now when something has ended? Then there are transitions that we choose, which tend to come about a little more subtly. We know something isn't fitting us. We are feeling maybe trapped, maybe dissatisfied, maybe angry, whatever the feeling, and we know we need to make a change. That's a change that I call intrinsic, meaning driven from inside us. And it's important in a change like that we take, once again, you need to take some time to really allow the other to end, but then also asking yourself, what does this make forward? What are the areas I want to explore? What am I curious about?
All right, so I'd like us to talk about the role of play in transformation, which is also your core topic. Now, we talk about play here. When we mention play, we always want to move it towards the children. But now, I'd like us to talk about the busy minds, especially those who are career-driven folks, the parents, and those who also pursue family obligations and there. So, how can we keep our mind active or find something playful to keep our hands on, especially while we are at work or we are at home?
Yeah, to your point, as adults, we all play as children. That's natural, and we see animal play, and there's play in nature. So play is very natural. But as adults with a lot of obligations, it's easy to say, I don't have time to play. What the research has shown, and what I have found in my own life, my own work, is that even 10 minutes of play, whether it's art, singing, dancing, is so healthy for us because it takes us out of our rigid way of thinking, our thought loops where we go over and over and over something. It reduces stress. It ups our curiosity. It helps us to see that there's all new possibilities out there. It's very easy as busy adults to get stuck in ruts and sort of never ending loops of what has to happen and looking at it the same way. And research has shown that when we can move from the left hemisphere of our brain, that's the very logical, driven, focused side of our brain where a lot of the stress occurs as well, to the right hemisphere, that's the place of play, holistic connection, creativity. It's hugely, hugely helpful for our mental health, as well as helpful to getting us unstuck during those times of transition. So I really advocate doing something for the sake of doing it and doing it just for fun. That's where the word play comes in, not to become an artist or a singer or a dancer, but just sort of for fun. For 10 minutes a day can really start to make a change in a very busy adult's life.
And now, finding something to play with or finding something to get you entertained, are they the same?
Entertainment's a little different because entertainment can be very passive, right? It could be binge watching a show, playing games, on your phone, which are great and can help relax us, but they're not engaging. When I think of play, or the kind of play I'm talking about, is a little more hands-on, right? Rather you're coloring, painting, singing, dancing, even building something with blocks. Cooking can be a form of engagement, or gardening, those kind of things. You want to have it use your senses to some degree, your hands. You just don't want to passively consume it. That's the difference when I hear your question about something that's entertaining, which can absolutely be relaxing, versus something that's a little more active.
So, do you think heart journaling can help in this situation?
So absolutely, it can. Art journaling falls into one of those categories I was talking about, and once again, the key is you're not trying to create art that you're even going to hang on your wall. You're just playing with color or glue or paints like you would in a written journal. And so it's private, and that when we release ourselves from the expectation that we are producing something to show another person versus doing it just for our own pleasure, I think that really makes the difference, and it's what gives us the real stress relief or the dopamine hit. It's part of what makes us feel so good.
Okay, so thank you, Susan. So how about the inner critic that often talk back at us almost every time? Can heart journaling, can it help?
Absolutely, it can help. We all have inner critics. Our inner critics start to be helpful, right? To help sort of protect us in the world and guide us. What happens though is over time, the critic takes too much space in our head and can really hold us back. What I like about art journaling is because it's play and you're tapping into your, say, 5-year-old, your child artist, you can truly just mentally tell your inner critic that I don't need you right now. It's okay. You can sit on the side. I'm in no danger. I'm just playing for 10 minutes with art. And the more we practice working with our inner critic, saying, I know you want me to be perfect right now or this, but I'm safe. I'm just playing in this case, or I have this. It's very helpful versus an aggressive attitude toward our inner critic where we're saying, go away or shut up. I think it's much more compassionate just to say, I see you, but I've got this right now. We're safe. It's your inner critic is all about trying to keep you safe. And it's very helpful if you can say to your inner critic that you have this and it's going to be okay. That is another way we can really, really reduce stress. And it helps us to stop believing the things our inner critic may tell us.
All right. So tell me quickly about your recent book, Hat for Your Sanity. What inspired you, and can you quickly share the important takeaways?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Art for Your Sanity, and the subtitles How Art Journaling Can Help You Manage Chaos and Unleash Joy, was something I discovered myself about 7, 8 years ago now. And in my coaching and speaking practice, I was talking so much about the power of art journaling because it embraces play. It helps us manage all of the emotions that come with change. It's not about ignoring the emotions, it's about how we channel them and work with them. It goes to mindset. So in the book, it's a bit of a personal journey. Plus, it's the research and science of why it's working. And I referenced that a few moments ago, and it's really because it moves us into the right side of our brain. And then the book gets a person started on art journaling, which is very simple. One of the reasons I love art journaling is you can start today. You just get a couple crayons or colors and you make a mess for 10 minutes and you see how you feel. It's a very easy practice to bring up. So the book it's short and it's pretty simple. It's personal journey, it's the science of why it works, and then it's a little bit of a how we get someone started.
Right, good to know. Thanks to you once again for sharing that with my audience. Susan Hensley, any important news or exciting projects you think the audience of the show can benefit from? If you have any, you can share them now if you do.
Well, sure. I mean, the main thing I want to share is on my website, there's a free downloadable PDF. If someone's just curious about how to start art journaling, you can go there and just download the PDF. I have an upcoming TED Talk on really how we can unhook from the trap of perfectionism. And I'll be excited to share that in a month or so. But mainly, if anyone in your audience is curious, I'd say go to the website, download the PDF, and give it a try. You might be really really surprised at how just 10 minutes a day can make you feel and help adjust your mental outlook, help you process difficult emotions.
So go ahead, you can share your website and your social media handles so the audience can connect and learn more about Susan Hensley, what you've been up to lately.
Sure. The website's just Susan-Hensley, and Hensley's HENSLEY.com. So it's easy to find. And there you'll find information about the book, my online course, the free PDF, other videos on how to get started.
Right. Thank you once again for sharing that. Susan, from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of the audience of Omobola Stephen, I sincerely want to wish you best of luck in this project and in all the projects that you embark upon, especially as you look forward in transforming the mindset of your audience in the global world with your coaching and your speaking engagement. Thank you once again for sharing your time and your valuable contribution to the topic of discussion on the podcast.
Oh, thank you. All my pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's been Omobola Stephen. Now, if you'd like to catch up with any missed episodes of the podcast, absolutely, you can check online. Just search for Omobola Stephen on any podcast distribution platforms or any podcast cross promotion platforms you bump into. And do have a great time as you listen to professionals who share disruptive yet constructive mindship conversations on topics and subjects that are on the personal development and self-improvement that are going to transform your life and give you a 360-degree mind shift. Till I come your way, I need you always to stay safe. I talk to you soon. Thank you once again, Susan, for your time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you subscribe and leave us a review.